Hi, I'm Allison Harrell. Thank you for joining us for another feature story here on IUEC.org. Last spring, the locals of Ontario, Canada went into their contract negotiations like most other locals do, with the expectation of a deal. But when issues surrounding seniority and the wage formula brought talks to a standstill, locals 96, 90, and 50 felt they were down to their last option and made the extremely difficult decision to go on strike. From Local 96 in Ottawa, here's our story. For Local 96 business manager Dan Vinette and business representative Conrad Devey, 2013 was their first time in contract negotiations. They quickly learned that this year was unlike any other, and theirs would be a baptism by fire.
I was told by those that had previously negotiated that this was definitely different. The employers didn't seem to have any interest in negotiating an agreement before the deadline. So I sensed that come the last week, with the positions being so far apart, that the divide would be too wide to get a deal done. The decision to put people on strike, 1,300 members on strike, isn't a light one. You know that there are going to be immediate consequences. But I reconciled that with the fact that I didn't want to be part of that committee member that would have bargained away what our forefathers fought for in 1972 and they walked the line for 6 months.
When the decision was made at the early hours of the morning, I don't think it really sunk in until the next morning and making the phone calls and feeling guys' stomachs drop on the phone.
For many members, the lack of income didn't just mean hardship for them, but also for the family that they provide for. In fact, it's the biggest reason walking a line is not something anyone looks forward to. It's a last resort.
It's your whole family. You know, I have a 2-year-old son at the time and a 5-year-old, and it's like, okay, well, how am I going to pay for them to be able to eat and to you know, get everything on the table?
I had a pregnant wife and we were moving at the time, so it was a little bit stressful for us.
The financial hit was a new concept for most of Local 96. With the average age of just 35, most of the membership hadn't missed a paycheck since they joined the trade. The senior members questioned whether this new generation would be able to hold the line. That question was answered day after day, picket line after picket line.
These kids, they stuck together. They were actually, it was amazing. It was how strong they were, just totally amazed me. It's actually what gave me a little bit of resolve, if I must admit.
When the strike first began, we were all out in strong numbers, and you know what, I really didn't know how that would play out for the entire strike, but the numbers never really dwindled, and we stayed strong the entire time.
As the weeks passed, support grew. Donations from other locals and even other unions started pouring in, giving relief and renewing the resolve of the members on strike.
It meant a lot for sure, all the money that came in from the other locals and even other unions out there. And then the fact that the president came down and actually seen that we exist felt pretty good, you know.
That was a great feeling, to know that the entire IUEC was behind us and to see the donations come in and to feel the support made it really feel like we were making a difference, and that it really proved what a union was to me.
After 9 long weeks, the Ontario locals had made their position clear, and a contract was signed with seniority and the wage formula intact. Members were happy to leave the picket lines and get back to doing the work that they love, work that proves, day in and day out, there is no better mechanic in the world than one from the IUEC. And while the strike was full of hardship and sacrifice, it also bonded this brotherhood like nothing else could.
Well, since the strike ended, I think that we have come together more as a membership, for sure. The guys know each other now. They were 9 weeks together, walking around, sharing stories.
I think that it has galvanized this membership for a generation to come, and that's the legacy of this strike in 2013.
Special thanks to Dan Vinette and Conrad Devey of Local 96 and all the members of the IUEC in Canada and the US who helped see this unfortunate situation through. But before I let you go, I'd like to share one more piece of this story with you. In this story, we talk about unity, we talk about sacrifice and brotherhood, but perhaps it reached another level when it comes to brother Michael Dean, a member of Local 96. Right before the strike, Michael's son was seriously injured when he was buried beneath a mound of sand while playing with his younger sibling. With the son in the hospital and medical bills mounting, even the financial hardship of a strike couldn't stop the members from supporting Michael and his son.
They had a member that was suffering a lot more than we were, even though these guys were suffering a lot. And they made a point of supporting him, even if it meant turning over monies that could have went to them and their families.
I had to build wheelchair ramps at home and install handrails on the staircases, grab bars in the washrooms, that kind of stuff. There was guys just offering assistance. There was also a little bit of extra financial aid that came my way, which was greatly appreciated. Some of the members were kind enough to donate their strike pay to my family.
Truly, brotherhood knows no bounds. Thanks for joining us here on IUEC.org, and feel free to forward this story along to others. We'll see you again soon.